And we're already getting into it with both players readying up very quickly. And here we go. This is a Helix on Helix matchup. On the blue team, Nashmee1 in the Black Ops Helix with Jeremy, I believe, one of those FLA pilots. And Avorex on the red team with the Steampunk Helix and Scoutmaster, same as we saw last game. And it's likely the exact same loadout as we saw last time as well. So we will see what they're able to do with this as we get into game 4, I suppose, the final game of this first bottom half of the brackets. And Avorex is going to be starting off with a honeypot and 2 longhorns. It would appear that honeypots are his only healing unit. Meanwhile, Nashmee also just using honeypots, and opening up with armadillos and honeypots, and back at his base 2 buckies, just for good measure, possibly to provide vision. Avorex getting onto his front outpost very quickly, as is Nashmee. However, Nashmee almost losing a couple units, and Avorex is going to be able to harass and brings down one of them. Nashmee's got to do something about this, as those armadillos are fairly squishy, and once missiles are online, Avorex is going to be able to do very quick damage to them, kill them very quickly. I forgot to pause the music, folks. Let me fix that real quick. Where did I put it? Oh, there we are. Okay, now Nashmee is advancing up that honeypot, which should help keep them alive. He's got an auto-deploy path and some shooters, so it looks like that's going to be his route onto the middle outpost. They're going to start out with that Jackal, possibly trying to take on these units, which will be a difficult prospect, considering the honeypot. We will see. It looks like Avorex is going to be going for some harassment drops, trying to bring that down to neutral. Does scout out the shooters and is going to wipe them all out while Nashmee deals with that Longhorn, and doesn't even finish off the Longhorn, as Avorex continues it on to Nashmee's base to get a little bit of chip damage in. Nashmee going to be forced to respond, losing his Bucky. And this has been very effective harass, even getting a good bit of base damage in. Nashmee needs to do something right now, just sitting on his base. Doesn't seem to have any idea what's going on, as Avorex successfully escapes with that Longhorn. That is a disaster for Nashmee, as he loses the better part of his army, putting him at a notable disadvantage, as Avorex has a fairly strong unit cluster here ready to roll out. Avorex once again successfully harassing. Nashmee is unable to react, or just choosing not to, and if he keeps this up, Avorex is actually going to be able to simply take the outpost with drops, not even sending his units out in a push, which would be the logical thing to do, certainly. Both of those go down. However, now Avorex is dropping on the base, possibly as a distraction while he sends out a push. Now Nashmee does have a couple defensive Gemini, but Avorex is already hitting those with his missiles. First one's getting low, and he does finish it off there, leaving Nashmee with one, and he does take out the first tank. The second one's still doing work. Nashmee not even body blocking, as it just continues to fire in on the outpost. And Avorex withdrawing his very damaged Longhorn. He did somehow manage to save that one, gosh. In any case, Avorex now continuing to harass. It would make a lot more sense for him to simply push at this point, given the unit disparity on that side of the map. However, a shooter cluster has successfully moved into this top, and now it's going to continue getting to work on these neutral units. As it looks like Avorex has largely failed to scout this, and he's continuing his aggression bottom, finally sending out that push, which is going into a very lightly defended outpost, with just a Bucky, an Armadillo, a T-99, and well, the T-99 and the honeypot are both bunkered, so it might be able to do a little bit of work. Nashmee perhaps coming in time to save this. He's doing some fairly good damage, bringing down most of those units, with just 2 rebels remaining, 1 rebel remaining, and no rebels remaining. And Avorex's push has failed, leaving him in a much worse position than he was before. Meanwhile, those shooters just continuing to take out neutrals on the map. which isn't really doing anyone any good. However, once they get past the neutrals, we should see them starting to move into this outpost unopposed, assuming that once again Avorex, who has gone down, and I missed that in the action, Avorex is down, which is going to allow Nashmee to continue to solidify his position, as all Avorex has is a group of tanks here. And does he miss the shooters? No, he does not. But it looks like he's not interested in destroying them at this point, as the Gaddy is doing that for him. And now he lands to finish them off. They do finish off the Gaddy, but now they're getting finished off. And Avorex is sending out a pretty hefty tank push, which is going to be pushing into a fairly light defended outpost. And Nashmee might not be able to hold off this one. However, he is building up some fairly strong defenses top, so we'll see if he's able to do anything with that. It looks like he is going to ferry one of those T-99 down to help in the defense. That T-99 needs to get on a socket so that it can continue to effectively defend. Meanwhile, as we can see, Avorex dropping a lone Longhorn to do some harass damage. And with how widely damaged Nashmee's forces are, well, widely distributed Nashmee's forces are, he might actually be able to survive this. Landing and once again not body blocking, which makes no sense to me. Not body blocking or rear firing. However, Avorex just going to continue dropping. One of those units is going to fall under fire from the T-99, but if Nashmee doesn't start blocking, he's just going to keep getting battered and bruised. As this large push comes in, with only 2 socketed T-99s and a Gemini to defend, as that rear socketed T-99 is not quite in range. However, it is going to bring down Avorex, so I suppose it's done its job. And this push is going to do a good deal of damage to the base, but Nashmee is going to be able to take it out. However, Nashmee is still in a disadvantageous position with this outpost on neutral. He needs to retake that quickly. He does, however, have a fairly strong cluster here. It's nothing particularly mobile, with just 2 Bucky. And Nashmee is once again going to attempt to neutralize this. Avorex dropping creeps in to oppose that. However, due to the T-99's work, he is going to reclaim it, and he needs to start saving his units. At this point, he's just throwing upkeep away and throwing credits away, as Avorex is managing his army much more efficiently. And each move that he makes is getting some work done. Avorex continuing to harass. That lone Longhorn's going to end up turning into a base drop, as Nashmee's base, nope, he cancels it, instead going to harass this outpost. Most likely not going to get a whole lot of work done as Nashmee's on it right away. However, Avorex is now sending out another tank cluster into a still lightly, and in fact even more lightly defended forward outpost, which I seriously doubt Nashmee is going to be able to really oppose. He's landing behind it, not using his missiles. In fact, he has the points in missiles, but he just needs to hold down right click to use them, as he's failing. Oh, we've got spectator buffering, most likely caused by lag, and hopefully we have no disconnect here, as that would call for a remake given how close this match is. And someone disconnected, so it looks like we're gonna have to remake. Making that call right here. This match was close enough. So we're just gonna get these gentlemen going whenever they're ready. It looks like we're gonna have to remake this lobby, unfortunately. And we're getting this lobby back underway. Just waiting for Avorex to get back in here. And we should be underway shortly. And we should be getting into this match very shortly. There's some great action happening. Oh, it looks like we do have some serious technical difficulties here. And once again, we'll be going live with the next game shortly. Cue when ready, gentlemen. And with 60 seconds left on the clock, we should be getting into this game shortly. And it looks like we're mixing it up this time. Nashmee on that Eva Helix once again, but Avorex switching to the Neo. And this is once again a more harass heavy mech, along with Scoutmaster, so we will see how he can do. And here we go, folks. Nashmee opening up the same way. Armadillos and Buckies, no honeypot this time. And Avorex once again opening with 3 Longhorn. And Nashmee now rolling out once again with those Armadillo. Taking the fire a little bit better this time, so perhaps his units will be left at higher health. Not too much more better than last time. And once again, we've got Avorex in here, harassing, taking out that first wave of creeps. And now moving on to eliminate that lone Armadillo duo. And it looks like they are both going to go down, as Nashmee does not get 4 creeps in, and Avorex just completely going ruthless with this harass here. And we're gonna see how Nashmee can respond. Once again, coming into the start of the game at a disadvantage, Avorex moves creeps into contest, and Nashmee is forced to stick around to respond. Does bring the creeps down, but it's looking like his outpost might go down to neutral once again. He's got a Vulcan in place, but that's not gonna do a whole lot against Neo. And once again, Avorex continuing to harass. He really wants this outpost, and he is going to give Nashmee a very hard time of holding it down. Looks like he's going to bring that Vulcan down, and Nashmee struggling to defeat him. Does get hit with stasis, almost going down, and he does die. That's first blood on the map to Avorex, and it looks like he's going to take this outpost. We should see this one ending much quicker. Avorex obviously taking advantage of the intel on Nashmee's playstyle that he gathered in the first game to go to much more of an advantage for him. And I'm on my BRB screen, I'm an idiot. Okay. In any case, Avorex continuing to harass. He does hold that outpost now as Nashmee is trying to reclaim it and failing. And it looks like he's just going to drive in for the goal this time. Nashmee is rebuffing that lone Longhorn assaulting his base, but it will probably not be enough with Avorex now holding this space as well, this outpost as well. Due to his lack of mid control, he is unable to send creeps in automatically. However, he has the Neo, so he can carry them over fast enough that that's not a huge issue, as he once again hits Nashmee with the stasis and brings him down. Avorex on a huge leading foot here. Once again going to collect some more creeps. Doesn't seem to have too much interest in capturing middle at the moment. More so just attempting to hold down this forward outpost while he finishes the game off. And it looks like he's going to succeed. Once again hitting Nashmee with stasis and bringing him down. Nashmee not even taking out a single creep. And Avorex continuing to mass his units. And it looks like this last game of the early brackets will be over shortly. And Avorex continuing to just recycle units back here to fund his rebel army at this forward outpost, where it looks like he's just going to attempt a game-ending push. And given the low amount of defenses on this outpost, he very well might be able to finish it off. Once again, more harass going down. Nashmee actually doing some of his own, successfully neutralizing one outpost. Not going to make too much of a difference as those creeps are going to flow right back in, and as you can see it's already almost retaken. However, Nashmee is at least distracting Avorex a little bit as Avorex sends in the big one. And this could very well be the end of the game. Nashmee does ferry back another defensive T-99 and positions that Tesla tower, unfortunately just out of range, and with the path that those rebels are on, Nashmee is not going to be able to deal with them very effectively, as he almost dies. Avorex does have to fly out to heal, and we're just seeing the base health trickle down. The defensive units are all gone, and there's not really a whole lot stopping it at this point, as Nashmee just tries to shoot it down. Does build a couple of T-99s, but it's doubtful that they'll be ready in time. And this looks like the end of the game, as Avorex brings it to a very neat conclusion with that Rebel Rush. And that's it, folks. The last match of our round of 8, as we now go into the quarterfinals over on RUI's channel. Thank you to anyone who is tuning in over here. I'm Cynicalama, and I'll see you over there once again at Twitch TV/RUI.